Hello, my name is Meadow, and you're watching Meadow Master. Today we're going to be making chocolate cake with strawberry icing, or strawberry buttercream icing, or frosting, I don't know. Strawberry buttercream on it, I guess that's what you would say. And yeah, let's jump right into it. The ingredients or materials that you will need are 1 large bowl and 2 9-inch round cake pans, an electric mixer. Mine is a hand mixer so I can pick it up and everything. Some Pam baking spray, a whisk, a wooden spoon. You can just use a spoon, but I like to have a whisk on hand. Some parchment paper or nonstick paper, some sugar, some flour. This is granulated sugar. Some all-purpose flour, some freeze-dried strawberries, 2½ sticks of unsalted butter, oil, cocoa powder, salt, fresh strawberries, baking powder, a bag of white chocolate and a bag of milk chocolate, some measuring tools, some confectioner sugar, and 2 eggs. And I think I got it all. So yeah, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees and wash our hands. I've done both of those. Next, we're going to grease our two 9-inch round pans. And let's just grease them. Medic, could I have some scissors? Don't throw scissors at home, kids! Okay, that's not, no, don't do that. Don't throw your scissors, guys. Don't you dare. I can't open the pans. The pans are stuck. Okay, my 2 9-inch round cake pans are stuck together. So, have a friend help you if your 2 9-inch cake pans are stuck together. Okay, so what you're going to need to grease it is some pan baking spray, some scissors, and some wax paper. What you want to do is you want to flip one of your 9-inch cake pans upside down. So take your wax paper and make it big enough to fit on top of your 9-inch cake pan. And then you just want to tear that. And then you're going to measure it around the bottom of your 9-inch cake pan. And then you can just kind of mark it with your scissors. It just makes the indent or the crease where you know where to start your circle. So this trick actually works surprisingly well. So what I'm doing is I have my scissors opened and I'm just running them along the crease of the wax paper. That way I know where to cut. And be careful while doing this step since the scissors are sharp and we do want to be careful not to cut ourselves. So yeah, now that you've gone all the way around your 9-inch cake pan, you have kind of like a template and you can go ahead and cut it out. So since I ran my scissors along the wax paper, it made a crease for me to cut around. So yeah, I'm just going to cut out my circle. Okay, so now I have my circle and you guys will notice that it fits perfectly in the bottom of your pan, and I want you guys to just repeat this step for your other 9-inch cake pan. Okay, so now we have our 2 pans with our lining in it that fits perfectly. And we have both of our pans are lined, and we're actually going to take out our lining for a second. And we're going to spray it with our Pam baking spray. That way our cakes won't stick. There we go. And make sure that you get some on the side as well. On the sides of your pan. Do the same for this one. Medic, could I have a paper towel? Okay, so we have our 2 pans greased on the inside, and now we're just going to spread around that grease a little bit and make sure it's covering the entire bottom and sides of the pan. Okay, so now I've wiped both of them, and I'm going to insert my 2 non-stick pallets, I guess I'll say. Do that for both of them. And I'm taking my finger and kind of pushing in the sides and everything to make sure it's really stuck in there. And then we're even gonna put a tiny dollop of cooking spray again, because we don't want the wax sticking to our thing either. So I'm gonna rub that around with just my fist. Okay, so now we're going to combine all of our dry ingredients in our large bowl. And the dry ingredients are our all-purpose flour, cocoa powder, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. So this recipe calls for, let's see how much flour we need. 1 3/4 cups. So 1 of these and 3 of these. And we're gonna set them in our large bowl. Okay, so now we've got all of our flour. Ow, my eye. Okay, so we've got all of our flour in our bowl and in my eye. That's okay though. We're fine. And now we're going to add our sugar. This recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar, so it's more sugar than there is flour, which kind of concerns me because that doesn't happen in a lot of recipes, but I guess we're just gonna have to see how it works out. And if it doesn't work, that's fine, we'll just try again. Okay, so we have our 2 cups of sugar and 1 3/4 cup of flour, and now we're going to be adding our cocoa powder. I have Hershey's cocoa powder. It is 100% natural cocoa powder. So we're going to be adding 3/4 cup. Okay guys, so this is a total mess because this cocoa powder has never been opened before. So, here's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And the last one was a little bit over because the other 2 were a little bit underfilled. And let's take a cleanup break. I'll be back to you when we're all clean. Okay, so we're back and our counter space is a little bit cleaner now. And after we've added our flour, sugar, and cocoa powder, we are going to be adding, so 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda and baking powder. So we're gonna do 1, thank you, 1 and 1/2. So there's our baking powder, and make sure you don't do over or under of this because this will make your cake rise. And then we have our baking soda, 1/2 and then 1. Make sure if you're baking you have adult supervision on hand because you don't want to like set the kitchen on fire, I'm guessing. And now we're just going to carefully mix until it's well combined. Smells really good. Okay, so there are lots of like little clumps in it, which is why we need to whisk it as well. The whisk is going to help break up all those little clumps and really combine the mixture. Okay guys, so we're back and we have our mixture well combined. It's looking pretty good. I accidentally spilled a little bit out, but that's all right. So it's looking pretty good. It's all one color, and that's my cue to stop mixing because you definitely do not want to overmix your mixture because it does have flour in it, and you never want to overbeat your flour. So now we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to add our 2 eggs, oil, 1/2 stick of butter, vanilla extract, and milk. So now we're going to add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. So we have 1 cup of milk adding into this thing. Waha! Got it in there. 2 eggs. And guys, a pro tip for you. Always crack your eggs into a separate bowl before putting them into the mixture. That way, if you get any shells, it's easy to take out. And we didn't get any shells in there. So we're good, and I'm going to go wash my hands because you should always wash your hands after working with eggs. Okay, so now we have my 2 eggs cracked in my bowl, and my hands are clean, and I've wiped it down my surface, and I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 eggs to this mixture. A 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And now we're going to add our butter and vanilla extract. So we're going to add a 1/4 cup of butter, or a 1/2 stick, unsalted softened butter. And then we're going to add our vanilla extract. 2 teaspoons. It's a lot of vanilla extract. We most likely don't have enough vanilla essence for this, but that is okay since it's a chocolate cake anyway. It may just be a little less vanilla-y than the recipe called for. Okay, we don't even have 1 teaspoon. We're supposed to have 2, but that's okay. We're just gonna make do. Now that we've added our milk, eggs, oil, butter, and vanilla essence, we're going to beat it on a slow speed until it's well combined with our electric hand mixer. And let's get mixing. Okay, so now we have our cake mixture well combined. And we're gonna move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to add 1 cup of hot or boiling water. So we're gonna add 1 cup of boiling water to this mixture just to thin it out a bit and make it more soft and wet on the inside. So I'll get back to you when we have our boiled water. Okay guys, we're back and we have our 1 cup of boiling water and we're gonna add it to our chocolate cake mix. Okay guys, so now I'm just stirring in my boiling water carefully and slowly. That way we are careful not to splash any of the hot water onto us or onto our surface. Okay, so now I'm done with my chocolatey batter kind of thing. And it's pretty thin, but that is a good sign. It's supposed to be really thin batter and it's gonna be a really moist cake, although it does bake for quite a while. Okay, so this cake is going to bake for 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so let's pour our batter evenly into our 2 cake pans. So now we have our batter evenly split and I'll get back to you after 25 to 30 minutes in the oven or until they're cooked. So now we're going to be making our strawberry buttercream. So we're actually not going to need these until the end. These are going to be, we're going to put them on top of the cake. But for the actual strawberry flavoring, we're going to be using crushed up freeze-dried strawberries. So let's go ahead and crush these up. That's why I have a rolling pin, but you guys can also use a rock or the back of a spoon. Get the air out of the bag. Now we're just going to crush them. Oh my god, can we just get this sound right here? Do you guys hear that? That's so satisfying. Okay guys, let's check up on them and see if they're crushed enough. Okay guys, so they're basically powder, so we're going to go ahead and set these off to the side, make our buttercream, and then we'll add them in. To make our buttercream, we're going to need 4 cups of powdered sugar, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and then some milk to make it, creamier. So let's go ahead and grab 4 cups of powdered sugar. Okay guys, so this is our 1 out of 4 cups. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have our 4 cups of powdered sugar in our bowl and all over us and our table, but that's okay. Now we're going to add our 2 sticks of unsalted softened butter. By softened, I just mean at room temperature, not hard. We have 2 sticks of that in there. And we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Now, this you have to be extra careful while mixing because there's a lot of powdered sugar and it's going to want to explode on you. So even before I mix that, I'm going to add a tiny bit of milk. And I know there are measurements for the milk, but I just kind of like to rough it for the milk because, there's always, more or less take or give. So. Give or take. Are you ready? Guys, I bet you this is going to shoot out at me. Pulse. We're going to pulse it for a little bit until it gets kind of combined. Okay, now we're going. Okay, so now we have a super, super thick icing, and we're gonna need to definitely add some milk to thin this up, because this is basically like, I don't know, cement. Okay, so it's getting better, but it's still really thick, and I want to add a little bit more milk. That was a lot of milk, but that's okay. We can always add more powdered sugar if it ends up being too much. Okay, so this actually might be good. Can I get a spoon? Okay, so let's try the icing. I think it needs a little bit more powdered sugar because I totally put way too much milk. Okay guys, so I'm just adding 1 more cup of powdered sugar. Okay, so that's basically our icing done. Now we're just going to do the strawberry part. So my technique for mixing in the freeze-dried strawberries is actually to take another bowl and to add a little bit of buttercream to your second bowl and then just melt it down a little bit. That way it's a little softer and easier to stir the strawberries in, and then we're going to mix the small part of strawberry icing into the big part. I'm going to say like 2 spoonfuls of our icing. Maybe 2.5. Set this in the microwave for a couple seconds until it just gets kind of melted. So I'll be back when we're done with that. Okay, so now we've added our crushed up freeze-dried strawberries to the little bit of icing we just melted, and we're just going to stir that in. Whoa, this looks really super satisfying. So now we're just going to fold this into the rest of our nice buttercream. I know I say folding as I stir it really fast and out of control, but you can fold yours. Okay guys, so this spoon isn't really working, so I'm going to switch to my whisk. Okay, so now we have our strawberry buttercream done. Looks like this. It's really pink. It has really nice natural coloring, so we don't need to add any dyes. And yeah, I'm really happy with this frosting, so I'm going to set this aside and start working on our cake topper. So our cake timer just rang and we're going to check and see if the cakes are done. For this, we're going to need a toothpick or a fork. Ooh, guys, the cakes rose super well, but they look really jiggly, so I don't know if they're going to be done, but I'm going to find out. No, the cakes are not done because the fork is dirty. So if the fork or toothpick, whatever you stuck in your cake, comes out dirty, then the cake is not done. So we're going to put it in for another 5 minutes. So it looks like our cake is going to be done in a couple of seconds, so I'm just going to wait for it to buzz. Come on. Cakes, are you almost ready? No, that's bloopers. That's creepy. Don't know. Never mind. Okay. Okay, so the cake might be ready. It's very terrifying. So we're going to pull them out and test them again. I'll test this one. Ooh, that one might be ready. Okay, so they look like they're so close to being ready. So this time I'm going to go ahead and put them in for 2 minutes and then I'll get back to you. Okay guys, we're back 2 minutes later. Well, the oven's going to ring in a couple seconds and we'll have to see if it's done. But I have my sunglasses ready because it's hot in the oven.
Because this cake's glorious, dude.
It's so shiny, it's going to blind me and it's hot in there, so we need safety first. Seriously? Seriously? Okay! As usual, totally scared people. We're gonna check on the cakes. There's clean. Check out on a couple places. This one is done. Totally done. And they look done, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab them. Have adult supervision or adult permission if you're doing this alone at home. Make sure that you turn your oven 100% off because you don't want anything happening. Okay. So now we're back. We have our cakes cooling off to the side. So we're going to be doing some kind of marble chocolate kind of piece to put on top of the cake. So for that, we're going to melt down some milk chocolate and white chocolate chips until they're melted white chocolate and milk chocolate. And then we're going to kind of splatter them on this wax paper. That way, after it hardens, we'll be able to pick it up as a sheet and hopefully place it onto our cake. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little outlining with a non-toxic Crayola marker. So I'm thinking maybe about something like this big. I don't know if you guys can see, but I just have a circle relatively the same size as our cake. And I'm going to draw a smaller circle inside of the big circle. So now we have a large donut because I'm going to be placing one strawberry on the middle of the cake, so I don't want there to be chocolate there. That way it can really sit in there. So yeah, now I'm going to melt my chocolate, place it onto this mold, let it harden, and hopefully we'll be able to put together our cake. And yeah, we're going to melt this down and I'll get back to you when it's melted. Okay guys, so our chocolate is melted now. As you can see, that's our white chocolate. And we actually ended up melting it on the stove instead of the oven because a lot of reviews online said that the oven wouldn't work. So I don't know, you guys can test it out at home, but we decided to play it safe and use the stove. Now that we have our milk chocolate, I'm going to place some of it onto our mat as we wait for our milk chocolate. So I'm just adding some spoons of white chocolate around the place. And I wanted to mention that while melting it, it was quite difficult to melt until we added a little bit of milk, and that really helped it to be more evenly melted. So that's a pro tip there. So now that I added some white chocolate around the place, I'm going to add some milk chocolate. And you do kind of have to work pretty fast in this step because you don't have much time until your chocolate is going to harden. Okay, so I have some chocolate randomly around my mat, and now I'm going to kind of swirl it around and try to make it fill the whole mat. Okay guys, so I don't know if you can see it, and I can't really lift it up to show you, but we're starting to have a really, really beautiful base. Try as quick as I can to add a little more milk chocolate over here. Okay guys, so we really don't have much time left. This is probably the last time I can put any more chocolate on because our chocolate is getting super hard, so I have to work extra fast for this last minute. So as you guys can see, I left a little bit of a hole at the top, or a hole in the middle, I'll say, because I'm going to put a strawberry in the middle of that hole once we start decorating the cake. Okay guys, so I probably can't mess with it much anymore because it's getting really hard and starting to set. So I think that this is my completed cake topper. I think it looks really nice and I'm excited to see what it looks like on the cake. Okay guys, so we're back. It's been like 40 minutes since I've seen you guys, so it's been a while. But we are all ready to put together our cake. We have our 2 chocolate cakes, which are completely cooled down. They're not hot at all. They're not even warm. And the reason that we have to let them cool is because we don't want it to melt the icing. We have our topper, which has actually been in the freezer, but I think it's a really beautiful topper. If you guys can see it, it kind of looks like a donut. I have a plate to present it on, some strawberries, and our frosting that we made at the beginning. So let's go ahead and remove the wax paper from our cake topper. I'm going to try to kind of like rip the wax paper away from the chocolate piece. Like this kind of. Oh God. We're going to put it on our plate upside down. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh wow, it looks really nice on the upside down of it. Got it. So let's see if we can get our cakes free. I'm going to go around the cake with my knife, but I'm actually going to go around with this side. That way we don't cut any of the cake with the serrated edge. Okay, so this one looks pretty good. I'm going to dump it out and hopefully we don't have any disasters. Yes! Okay. So I got it out. And since we put Pam on both parts of the wax, it comes off easily. We have our first cake on, and I'm going to put the first one upside down and the second one right side up because the bottom of the cake is flat. That way we don't have to cut it off and level it. And we're going to bring over our second one. Oh, yes. Okay, this one is a nice cake, and it decided to just be amazing and come out right away. So I'm going to set this one over there. The cakes actually came out really good. They look really nice. They're cooked all the way through. And they're super moist and jiggly, so I think that they're going to be really good. It's super duper important to put a lot of icing in the middle of your cake, not only on the edges, because you really want there to be a thick layer of icing in the middle. That way it's not too dry because it's going to be a lot of cake stacked on top of more cake. And you don't want it to be all that dryness of all the cake, even if it's a moist cake. You want to make sure there's a nice, healthy layer of frosting in the middle of your cake. That way it's nice contrast and isn't too dry. Okay, that, maybe a tiny bit more. You want to make sure, like I said before, that you have a lot of icing in the middle. Now I have to go wash my hands. Hold on. If you lick your fingers, please wash your hands. Okay, so now we're going to attempt, hopefully we don't break our second cake, but we're going to flip it onto this cake and see if we can get it on there straight. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. We have our cake structure. It's actually really nice looking. Okay. So I'm just putting a nice amount of icing on the top. And then I'm going to spread it around again with my butter knife. Now I'm just frosting the sides and going around and wiping some of the icing from the top that's not necessary, or the extra icing from the top off. And I'm pulling it down to the bottom. And usually if you have enough buttercream, you would do this, which is called a crumb coat. Okay, so normally, like I was saying before, normally this would be what you call a crumb coat. You chill it in the freezer and then do a nicer coat. But I don't really have time to do that. I'm currently on a time limit here, so. So guys, I'm thinking that this looks pretty good. Okay guys, so something was wrong with the camera, but now we're back and we fixed the problem. And we actually did have time to do a crumb coat. So this cake has been in the fridge for a few minutes now, and now I'm just gonna refrost it. Okay, so I'm done frosting the cake, and now I'm gonna very carefully pick this up again. I really don't want to break it. And set it on the cake. Oh, wow. Don't know if you guys can see it, but it looks really nice. And now the hole in the middle is for strawberry. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a strawberry to the middle, and then I'm gonna cut in and try this cake. This is a beautiful strawberry. And I'm actually gonna stick it on with some of our extra frosting. I have a lot of extra frosting. There we go. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful this cake is. I'm so happy with the results, and now I'm just gonna cut into it. Wow, that is amazing, guys. Look at that. Mmm. Oh, it's really good. Okay, we're calling in the experts to taste.
Nice presentation. Nice buoyancy. Nice thermal adjustment.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
And just, they say stuff like that on cooking shows.
Okay.
You know, who knows what they're talking about. Oh, this is good. I need to get the bite of this chocolate and see how that works. Oh, it's rich.
Oh, wow.
Thumbs up. Very good. I like it. The cake's moist. Strawberries and chocolate are a good combo.
Case closed.
Perfect cake.
Okay, guys, so sadly this video has come to an end. We have a beautiful cake, and I hope you guys try this recipe out for yourself and let me know if it works for you. Definitely worked out for me, and keep baking. I will keep baking. Thank you guys for watching. Please go down and subscribe and hit the bell notifications. It would really help me out, and yeah, I'm out. And the cake is mine. I'm so excited for the bloopers. Okay, it's being difficult. Oh. Cut. Okay, guys, so we're back, and okay. Okay, guys, so we're back, and tape was off. I am having a spatula now. Bloopers, throw it again. Go back and throw it again. That's for the bloopers, totally.